Okay, so what have we been up to? Well, I finally managed to get it so as it will do a float array, which I think is quite useful. So if we run this up now, and we load up our array test, we can now run this and output with the minus sign an actual float, which I think is quite clever as well as quite useful. Not that I know what I'm ever going to do with this program, but I'm only doing it to learn how to do C++, so I suppose that's a bit irrelevant. What did that take? Well, we had to add a new token, obviously, float, in tokens. In the lexer, we had to make some adjustments to is digits in here. We had to it changed from that. Not a lot of change. We just had to make sure that we include the dot so as it knows there's a dot in between the numbers, and then obviously we had to add the float token float in there so as that can run through. Like I say, it was only a slight change from the existing one. And then in parsing, we had to do just a couple of little ones in parsing. We had to add, I think, what was it? Where are we? I lost it there a bit. Yeah, we've had to just change these two slightly. So this works, so as we get the minus sign in there. This is part where we're using this for the not or and the unary, parser unary setup. And in here we also removed this piece of code because I found that this piece of code is being done elsewhere, so we don't need that. So it's sat there doing nothing. We also had to just make a tiny change here, which was, if I can find it now, backwards and forwards. In here we had to have, this was changed in here slightly just to make, no, I'm looking at that, am I looking at that right? What have I done? I've done something there. There was something there that had to be changed. I only say that because it was written in my it's written on my piece of sheet. 380. Well, I can't see anything there at 380. What have I changed there? I must have changed something there because it's written down on my little sheet of paper. Oh well, I can't. Oh yes, I can. There, we had to add the float literal on there. I was obviously typed something in up further and it's moved it down, so it was that had to be added there. In that, and then in interpreter, excuse me, had to add this in here to interpreter, and then we had to add some more down here, which was just here. This had to be added as well for the evaluate float. And then again, there wasn't a lot of code added. It was added in loads of different places. Little bits had to be added in different places of the whole system. And if I don't write them down, I can't find them. Then here, this was where were we? The minus sign in there had to be added, and I think then we go right the way down to here. This whole block had to be added. This was a new piece of code that was added, and obviously that then has to be added into the interpreter H as well. And then that was it. That was all we needed to do, and all that resulted, it made the original array work. So we can now basically that's it for arrays at the moment. The SPL is now handling type arrays, array initializers, index access, floats and unary minus, all interpreted at runtime. I think that's pretty good for an old geezer that ain't got a clue what he's doing. And there we go, and it works. Not sure where I'm going next with this. I've been looking and thinking probably ought to start thinking about our own header files for it, or my own header files for it, so that it's a little bit more, makes a little bit more common sense. I don't know yet. I don't know where I'm going with it yet. I'm going to have a few days and have a think about what's the next bit for this. Anyhow, thanks for watching if you did.